Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video I would like to walk you through a case study I have recently worked with in relation to the spine vertebrae C7. And in my recent spine videos, I walked through how the spine relates to yourself and life alignment. I briefly mentioned the area surrounding C7. And interestingly enough, a few days after that, I had a individual who I was working with who had a knot in their C7 vertebrae. So they experienced it as a very tight, tensed knot. And herein, I'd like to share with everyone the points and dimensions that opened up through them and how that can assist and support you to utilize as a reference for yourself whenever you feel a tightness, a tension, a knot in your C7. Now, interestingly enough, your C7 vertebrae creates a cross, all right? So if you, for example, draw a vertical line into the spine and a horizontal line across the shoulders, it crisscrosses there exactly by C7. And so the first point I assisted and supported them with is showing how they are at a stage or point in their lives that is known as a crossroads, defined where they're at a stage and a phase that they have the potential to now create their own choice of a path or a future that they'd like to walk. So they have come from a very long journey and process or phase in their life that came to an end. And now they're at that crossroads. There are paths that opened up that they have potentials to choose, but it hadn't as of yet come into fruition, come into manifestation. It hadn't actually become a walking process. It hadn't become a part of their life as of yet. So they might feel in a way as though they're stuck, but actually it's a time of introspection, reflection, really having a look at getting in touch with self again. So I found for myself as well, when my C7 was knotted, or not so much that the spine was out in that area. It's an actual pain, tension. You really have to stretch it, and it feels like you want to massage the area the whole time. It's one of those deep, irritating, numb pains that I was at a time that I felt stuck, a bit lost, because I've just come from a difficult process, a breakup with a relationship, a life path or journey that I thought I knew that is what I want to do and be and invest myself in. But everything just came to an end. And now I'm like, okay, but who am I? What do I really want to do with myself in my life? What is the best for me? And interestingly enough, in this particular case study, what happened with the individual was that, inside themselves for years, they wanted a particular future. All right. Let's say, for example, kids, a marriage, settling down. And that want became a desire within them, where the future inside themselves became more a want, a need, and a desire. And that future became like this shield that they were projecting in front of themselves, walking into life, into relationships with people, saying, this is what I want, this is me, and kind of, broadcasting it to life, saying, life, this is what I want. This is what I desire, and I'm going to get it. So, interestingly enough, though, what happened within that, it being a want and a desire and more like thwarted with emotion, is that they realized that they were making decisions to be in a relationship with a person just to have that. Even though the relationship was to an extent compromising, over time proving that it was more challenging and difficult. There was more conflict and fighting and, resistance. And it was like, over time, life was just showing them, no, this is not where you're supposed to be. Obviously, it's not a point of just giving up on a relationship, if things get difficult or tough. But if it's going on for, let's say, a matter of a year and 2, 3, nothing's changing, then you and your partner really have to sit back and have a look at, okay, what's going on here? Are we really in a relationship with one another? Or are we here wanting to fulfill a future that we want, need, and desire? So that's where she kind of woke up and realized, oh my goodness, I'm not in a relationship with my partner and who he is as a person. Minimum, because I'm wanting him to get me that future. I just want a kid and I want a family. That's what I want. So in that as well, she kind of lost touch with herself as a person, her skill set, her abilities, her talents. She was stuck in a job just to make sure she's got money to be able to fulfill that family and parent and having a child idea. But then everything just slowly but surely over time started collapsing, her mental health, her physical health. And that's where her world started collapsing. And, it's in terms of discussing this with her, I said, look, there's nothing wrong with wanting a family and wanting a child, wanting that future. Absolutely nothing. That's something you'd want to create. Great. But the thing what we don't always realize is that that want may not be what is in store for us on many levels in this lifetime. Like, a deep part within us, could be simulating a want for a family and a child. But at the same time, ourselves in life has got something different in store. That family and having a child is going to come through differently than what you may have expected, So trying to force that and compromising your mental health and physical health for it. And day in and day out, everything's just getting worse and worse and worse. Now, to the point where not even seeing that you and your partner is fighting all the time. How can you bring a child in this world or have the family and this fantasy in your mind if the reality is busy happening? It's like she didn't even see reality versus the fantasy. Just saw this family, kid, money, that happening. And the reality was absolutely the opposite and falling apart. That's why, it's always having a look at that life path where she came to this crossroads, C7. And that's something I've also realized, where I've come to a C7 crossroads in my life when I was trying to fulfill a want and a desire of a future and a life in my mind. And actually in that compromising my self-purpose, my potential, my future, and that what is in store for me might be a family and a child that is more fulfilling than anything that I could have imagined. That's not going to come through the way that my fantasy is playing it out. It might be coming through in an unexpected way that actually contributes and complements me as a person the most. All right, so everyone, the basic point within this, and what she's doing now is her and her partner, in relation to her particular experience, they decided to drop being in the relationship to try and get a family and a child for that future outcome to manifest. And now the relationship is a lot better in the context of a friendship. So that's proving in so many ways that, okay, this is it. That's cross-reference for them in how that's complementing one another and themselves individually and their lives, because even their everyday lives change for the better. more different doors opened up for that person in their life and for her as well, where she's now exploring a different course of developing a skill set that she's always in her heart. It's been there, but she never followed through on it. So going to see where that path takes her. So I said, okay, your C7 is basically showing there because that's where you are at, and you need this time to get to know yourself and make sure that whatever future you're going to be creating for yourself from here on out will be yourself first. It's not a want, need, and desire that you're trying to enforce on reality, where everything in your life and yourself might be showing you, wait a minute, that one need and desire is not the best for you right now. It's not the true thing that connects to your true self, your purpose, your utmost potential in this lifetime. Wait a moment, slow down. So she's absolutely taken the time to reconnect with herself and her future and her life once again, after coming from so many years, of fighting for a future. So for myself as well, everyone is, realize it's not to give up on that. I said, that point is still coming up when you have a family and a child. Have that in you, but be flexible. Be open for the varying different ways that it can come about in your life. Let your life unfold as much as you are directively creating it. Meaning, yes, if that's something you want to build to, do so, but make sure you don't lose yourself in the process of it, and don't see that, okay, my reality is falling apart here, and you're trying to deny that because of something you want. So it's that, what is the difference between trying to enforce my wants, needs, and desires, and what is it about for me to live my self-honesty, my utmost potential, my awareness, not compromising me, and letting life open up and unfold, letting the doors open for you. Okay, everyone. So here, a very nice case study to learn from, and a thank you for the individual for allowing us to use their process and experience as a case study for many to learn from. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.